Democracy returned to Jammu and Kashmir a decade later. People voted enthusiastically and it was an unprecedented election because there was no boycott call, there was no conflict, but there was anger, an expectation, a conscious decision to fight for its rights and future politically through vote. People gave a clear majority mandate for the National Conference Congress alliance, translating into 49 seats out of 90. BJP emerged as the main opposition with 29 seats. National Conference Congress will form the first government in the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory. 54-year-old Omar Abdullah has led the alliance well to claim the victory, and it has come after a personal electoral setback. In June this year, on the counting day for parliamentary election, Omar Abdullah was out on a run in the morning. When he finished it, the verdict for Baramulla was out, and he lost it to engineer Rashid. It was his first defeat in Lok Sabha election since his debut win in 1998. On 8th October, as the votes were being counted for the assembly election, he was once again out on a run. This time, he hoped he would break the jinx of June.
The last time I did it on counting day, I lost. And I was actually in two minds as to whether I should do it again. And I told myself, if I go for a run today and I lose, I will never run again in my life. But if I don't run, I need to put this jinx away. So I went for a run and I still won. So now I'll just keep running when I have to.
It is time for Srinagar to say, Salam Omar. He was the youngest MP to cross the threshold of Indian Parliament at the age of 28 in 1998.
I, Omar Abdullah, do swear in the name of God, do swear in the name of God.
A decade later, he was the youngest chief minister to take charge of erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir at the age of 38 in 2009.
To the Constitution of the state as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India.
15 years later, he's all set for his second term as the chief minister of the now Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir.
First chief minister कौन बनेगा? Omar Abdullah. पूरे full term के लिए sir? Full term or there will be some power show?
No, there will be full term.
On the verdict day, 54-year-old Omar Abdullah was out on his daily run. Despite the early trends of the National Conference sweeping the election, he was patient in his response.
जो भी होगा वो ट्रांसपेरेंट तरीके से होना चाहिए और लोगों का जो मैंडेट है उसके साथ छेड़छाड़ होनी नहीं चाहिए.
3 months back in the general election, he lost Baramulla to engineer Rashid. The memory of the loss humbled him.
इंजीनियर रशीद साहब जब मैदान में उतरे तो जाहिर सी बात है इलेक्शन में उनका मुकाबला करना हमारे लिए थोड़ा सा और मुश्किल पड़ गया. कभी कभार इलेक्शन में जो है हार जीत होती है. ये पहली मर्तबा मैं पार्लियामेंट का इलेक्शन हारा हूं. अब आगे देखते हैं क्या होता है.
He made his moves for the assembly election cautiously and wisely along with his ally Congress. Omar Abdullah's moves have paid off well, putting him and his party in a comfortable position to form the government in the Union Territory.
Do you think your test also begins right away? The challenges begin. The mandate that you've got is for a reason, for the promises that you made for people, especially on state.
The challenge starts now. The election was perhaps the easy part. Now for 5 years we have to prove that we are worthy of the mandate that the people have given us. There are a lot of expectations. We also have the added challenge of giving a sense of belonging or a sense of ownership to parts of J&K that didn't vote for the coalition at all. The plains of Jammu almost completely sort of ignored or rejected the coalition. But they have to feel a part of this government. You can't ignore them for 5 years.
I appreciate that's a good point.
The government that comes in will have to make sure that through its actions rather than its words, proves to the people of Jammu that this is not a government of the National Conference or the Congress or the Alliance or those who voted for us. It's the government.
Ensure to the people of Jammu watching you, we may have voted for BJP, but your government will work for them also, not alienate them.
This government is as much the government of the voters of the BJP as it is the government of the voters of the National Conference or the Congress. They do not deserve to be punished just because they didn't vote for us. And I would be the last person who would advocate something like that.
What kind of relationship should we expect between Omar Abdullah National Conference and the centre, Prime Minister Modi, Lieutenant Governor? Many are asking if there will be a smooth coordination and there will be a sort of friendship between the two.
Look, it takes two hands to clap. I can only tell you that I will make every effort to ensure that the incoming government, whoever may head it, whoever may make it up, will work for smooth relations, both with the Lieutenant Governor and with the Union government. I'm not saying that the National Conference will suddenly discover some love for the BJP or vice versa. We will continue to oppose each other politically, but I'm drawing a distinction between the National Conference and the BJP on the one side and the government of Jammu and Kashmir and the Union government on the other. So while politically we may not see eye to eye on anything, at least in the interest of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, for whom the Prime Minister has spoken many times, we can figure out how to work together.
What does this moment mean to you, specifically for the setback that you've seen, specifically for many who did criticize you and said the Abdullah era is possibly over? What would you want to say? What does this moment, when you sit back and realize 42 seats, 50 seats almost as a coalition, what is happening here?
It's humbling, but it's also scary. Look, it's enormous responsibility. This is not sort of an elected government that's transitioning to another elected government. We've had no democracy in Jammu and Kashmir since 2018. Expectations are enormous. But we're also the first elected government in Jammu and Kashmir in a union territory. And therefore, navigating those sort of new relationships is also going to be a challenge. I headed a coalition here for 6 years as the most empowered state in Jammu, in the union. Today, this government that comes in will be a government in perhaps one of the most disempowered territories in the union. So it's going to be...
This government from the 90s of NC will be different from the NC of 2024, the conflict that we saw?
It has to be different. That was a 2/3 majority government in an empowered Jammu and Kashmir.
But this is also a conflict, Omar, that followed.
There was a conflict, but this is a coalition. This is a coalition that, at least for the time being, is not responsible for security and law and order. That will happen once statehood is restored. And we are hopeful the statehood will be restored soon.
The commerce graduate of the third generation of Kashmiri political powerhouse of Abdullahs has come a long way in these 26 years since his electoral debut. He has weathered ups and downs well to emerge out of his grandfather and father's shadows. From the days of being an ally and a cabinet minister in Vajpayee government to standing at polar opposite direction from BJP in the span of 2 decades, it has been a checkered growth. The biggest impetus in this growth came with the abrogation of Article 370 in 2019.
In these 232 days, a lot has happened. A lot has changed. For us individually and for us collectively. During my period of detention, I had thought a lot about what I would say the moment I came out.
He was put in house arrest for 232 days following the abrogation of Article 370 under Public Safety Act, like all other political leaders of Kashmir. The isolation changed him. Omar Abdullah then had announced that he would not contest a poll till statehood was restored for Kashmir. 5 years later, he changed his mind.
10 June, interview to PTI. No, I am not contesting the assembly elections.
I'm not saying
I will not fight a UT election. I'm absolutely clear on that.
A lot of inputs from people I don't know who reached out randomly by email, by message, conversations with colleagues. I realized that perhaps the position I took was wrong in as much as it was perhaps hypocritical.
So you've changed your mind.
Well, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be filing. How do I expect the people of Jammu and Kashmir to repose faith in an assembly that I'm not willing to repose faith in?
In the past 5 years, the Abdullah scion has cemented his relation with the other political dynasty of Indian politics, the Gandhis. In the 2024 election season, the ties between the two families were used to bolster the alliance's fortune in the valley. Omar Abdullah is now all set to reap the dividends of his hard work with clear mandate from the people of Jammu and Kashmir. This scene changed in a matter of an hour on verdict day for the Saffron Party in Haryana. In the morning, when it was trailing, Congress started celebrating with firecrackers and dhol. But the whole picture changed post 11 a.m. BJP was nearly written off in this election by the pundits. Countering all predictions, the Lotus scored a historic hat-trick in Haryana on 8th October with a clear majority.
हमें कोई न दिक्कत पीछे थी न दिक्कत हमें आगे है। हम ईमानदारी से आदरणीय मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में काम कर रहे हैं। हमने सेवा भाव से काम किया। हमने सत्ता के हिसाब से काम नहीं किया कि हमारी सत्ता है। हमने सेवा भाव से हरियाणा प्रदेश को ईमानदारी से, जो भेदभाव होता था हरियाणा के साथ क्षेत्रवाद का कि एक क्षेत्र में तो काम होता है और नहीं होता, उससे विराम लगाया।
Nayab Singh Saini is all set to become the Chief Minister of Haryana for the second term. In March this year, he replaced Manohar Lal Khattar and was the caretaker of the state BJP government for its remaining term. With 48 seats under his belt, he has done a commendable job in his cameo role. It's time for Haryana to say, Namaste Nayab. He emerged man of the match. Beating the anti-incumbency of 10 years, BJP repeated its 2014 feat under his leadership. Nayab Singh Saini not only won his Ladwa seat, he ensured victory for his party at a crucial match. He was made Chief Minister in March, replacing Manohar Lal Khattar. The Saffron Party focused on securing the OBC vote that makes up about 40% of the population by elevating Nayab Singh Saini and OBC as state party chief and the chief minister. It effectively tried to consolidate the 75% non-Jat vote in a state which often had upper caste Jat community for the top job.
हरियाणा का सबसे व्यवस्थित वेल ऑर्गेनाइज्ड चुनाव लड़ा। 5 साल हमने काम करा और हमें उससे सैटिस्फैक्शन है कि मेजॉरिटी बीजेपी की आएगी और बीजेपी सरकार बनाएगी।
The very next morning, with a winning verdict in his pocket, Nayab Singh Saini met the Prime Minister at his residence. The astute politician Narendra Modi knew that though Saini had done his job well, it was also time to keep his house in order in Haryana. Infighting could spell doom.
हरियाणा के मुख्यमंत्री भाई नायब सैनी जी और पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री श्रीमान मनोहर लाल जी की भरपूर तारीफ करता हूं, भरपूर प्रशंसा करता हूं। उन्होंने हरियाणा के विकास के लिए बहुत मेहनत की है। साथियों, जब जनता ऐसे काम को प्रोत्साहित करती है, नेक नियत और अच्छी नीति को सराहती है, तब काम करने की ऊर्जा भी दोगुनी होती है।
मैंने हरियाणा की जो प्रचंड जीत हुई है उसके बारे में आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को बताया है और मैंने कहा है प्रधानमंत्री जी को कि आपको हरियाणा के लोग बहुत प्यार और स्नेह करते हैं और उसका परिणाम है कि आज तीसरी बार भारतीय जनता पार्टी को इतनी बड़ी सीटें दे करके ये तीसरी बार हरियाणा में डबल इंजन की सरकार बनी। मैं नायब सिंह
54-year-old Nayab Singh Saini is the People's Chief Minister. From the day he took over the reins of Haryana in March, Saini has kept an open house. He is the Dalit Chief Minister of a Jat-dominated state, but does not wear his caste on his sleeve, because he knows how to play it politically smart. Saini announced a slew of measures aimed at wooing the OBC community, like raising the income limit for being in the OBC creamy layer, offering LPG cylinders for ₹500, offering free 100 square yard plots to every family below the poverty line, offering free bus travel of up to 1,000 kilometers, and assuring jobs for Agniveers. These helped him unify various factions within Haryana. The result is BJP winning at least 10 seats in places it had never previously tasted victory.
मैं लाडवा के सभी वोटर्स का दिल से धन्यवाद करता हूं, जो इतना सम्मान मान दिया है। हरियाणा के अंदर जो लाडवा ने एक ऐसा सम्मान दिया है कि मैं दिल से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
पर आपने भी क्या उम्मीद की थी जब ये एग्जिट पोल्स आए? आपके मन में कोई शंका थी, उम्मीद थी?
नहीं थी, कोई शंका नहीं।
आपको उम्मीद थी कि
मेरे को मालूम था इतना बड़ा बहुमत। मैंने कहा था, मैं बार बार बोल रहा था, ऐतिहासिक रिजल्ट आने वाले हैं और बड़ा मैंडेट आएगा, और वो वही मैंडेट।
ये बताइए, जिस तरह से हुड्डा साहब ने भी कहा कि बड़ा स्लो सा वोटिंग था, इलेक्शन कमीशन को कंप्लेन करेंगे,
वो आरोप लगा रहे, कोई उनकी बात में कोई दम नहीं है, खारिज कर दिया।
Having risen through the ranks, Saini has a unique understanding of the people and their issues on the ground. Born into a humble family in a village near Ambala, he rose through the ranks in the BJP. Starting as a computer operator in the party office, he eventually became the General Secretary of Haryana's BJP Kisan Morcha, assisted BJP's Ambala Youth Wing, and finally became an MLA in 2014 after one failed attempt previously. He was then made a minister, one of the youngest in Khattar's cabinet. 5 years later, he won the parliamentary post from Kurukshetra and became state party president a year before his elevation as chief minister. This gradual rise not only honed his organizational skills, but also kept him in sync with voters, a trait that proved invaluable in these elections. It earned him praise from the Prime Minister himself.
आज हरियाणा के इस बेटे की प्रशंसा पूरे देश में होती है। इतने कम समय में बहुत कम लोगों को इतनी लोकप्रियता मिलती है।
Saini, who was handpicked by Chief Minister Khattar, has emerged as the face of BJP's historic hat-trick in Haryana. It's time for him to rise in the podium and fulfill his promises to Haryana.